This story happened in Israel a few years ago. Rav Chaim Zed used to spend most of his Shabbosos away from his family, lecturing throughout the country during seminars and Shabbatons. 2 weeks before Hanukkah, he was invited to speak in Netivot, a seminar for girls learning to strengthen their observance. On Friday morning, he was taken to the guest room booked for him, close to the school hosting the seminar. Shortly before Shabbat, someone came to pick him up by car and dropped him off. After the prayer service and the evening meal, Chaim gave his lecture. The girls were encouraged to ask questions, and thanks to his speaking skills, his deep answers, and his anecdotes, Chaim quickly managed to captivate his audience. The lecture went on for several hours and ended very, very late. Exhausted by his long day, Chaim began to walk to his room. But at the first street crossing, he realized he couldn't remember the way back. It was late, and it was Shabbat. The streets were empty. And even if he were to meet someone by coincidence, be of no help, since he also forgot the name of the street he was looking for. He began to rack his brains, but alas, he couldn't remember the address. Chaim then thought of knocking on someone's door at random, but he didn't want to wake up anyone and quickly gave up on that idea. Eventually, he began to walk haphazardly, hoping to find a place to sleep. Suddenly, a few minutes later, he heard someone humming inside a shul. He went in, following the tune, and found a young man sitting by himself on a bench, studying Torah while singing. Curious, Chaim came near to him and asked, "May I ask you, why are you studying so late at night?" "I study every Shabbat, but this is my special time. My Rav once told me that with enough willpower, a young man can accomplish anything, even finishing studying the entire Shas, the entire Talmud, before reaching marriageable age. I took up the challenge, and for the last few years, I've been studying every Shabbat to this end. Tonight, I have 3 pages left to study," the young man replied. Both moved and impressed, Chaim asked, "May I study these last pages with you?" The young man accepted, and an hour later, they finished the 3 last pages together, thus completing the study of the entire Talmud, which is approximately 2,700 pages of Gemara, front and back. Then the young man asked Chaim what brought him there. Chaim told him the whole story, the lecture, the seminar, and the fact that he forgot how to find his room. The young man thought for a while before commenting, "I would gladly invite you to my house, but I come from a large family, and there's really no space in our small apartment. Maybe go to the Ezrat Nashim, the section reserved for the women." Exhausted, Chaim tried to open the door to the Ezrat Nashim, but it was locked. Again, he was left wandering in the empty streets of Netivot, completely overtired, looking for a place to sleep. That's when he found another synagogue, where the Ezrat Nashim was open. Just when he thought he could finally get some rest, he heard a young woman crying. The odds were really against poor Chaim. He was turning around to leave when she noticed him. Embarrassed, he said, "Sorry, I didn't know there was someone here. Don't worry, I'm leaving immediately." But the young woman recognized him. "Aren't you Rav Chaim Zaid? What are you doing here in the middle of the night?" Once again, Chaim shared his story. "I know there are guest rooms in my building. Maybe yours is there. It's nearby Kihilat Yaakov, Street number 7, she suggested. Upon hearing the address, Chaim suddenly remembered it was where his room was. Relieved, he thanked the young girl who was about to leave when she said, "Wait, you have to know that I'm crying tonight because of you." Chaim gave her a questioning look, so she explained, "2 years ago, I was in seminary when you came to give a lecture. You said that any girl who really wants can marry a man who will become the next leader of the generation, and that she can cry and pray to reach this goal. I believed you. I took each word to heart. I convinced myself that I would marry a man who only had Torah on his mind and didn't work. For the last 2 years, all the marriage proposals I'm getting are nothing like my aspirations, and I don't want to compromise. Now everyone makes fun of me and says I have lost touch with reality. Even my parents. You advised to cry. so I will cry until I find my other half." Without second thoughts, Chaim replied, "Well, you can stop crying, because I just met a boy perfect for you." The young girl gave him an astounded look. "What? What do you mean? What boy?" By then, Chaim was just too tired and reassured her, "Listen, I'm too tired. I absolutely need to get some sleep. Give me your name and I'll take care of the rest. As for yourself, keep praying Hashem to Hashem and everything will go well." The next day, Chaim returned to the synagogue where he met the young man, and after the prayer service told him about the girl. After Shabbat, he contacted the parents of both families, and when he recounted to them how everything fell into place so extraordinarily, they immediately agreed to organize a meeting. 3 weeks later, at the end of Hanukkah, the young couple was already engaged. This unique story shows us once more the marvel of divine providence. Hashem is always with us. He does not forget anyone and guides each human being to be at the right place at the right time. Shabbat Shalom.